And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Thursday, February 10th. I am Josh Engleman, and I'm making sure that I am not on mute, which I actually thought I was for a second. And I'm here to break down a 7-game NBA slate. We are not going to spend a lot of time digging into the intricacies of any rotations today. If there's any sort of question marks, we're going to move through it pretty quick. Today is the NBA trade deadline, and there is no real reason to dig into any. Well, like, if it's a team that it's obviously not all that important from a deadline perspective, we're going to go for it. But anything that's up in the air with regards to the trade deadline, we're going to move through it pretty quickly because we are going to have a lot of stuff happen likely later today that will change basically this entire slate. No sense in investing too much time in random nonsense at the very least. In hindsight, we should have just pushed the show and turned it into the trade deadline show. But let's talk about that for a second. Trade deadline show today, kicking that off at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go to the big screen. I don't know why I didn't. Kicking that off at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going live, and we are breaking down whatever happens in the NBA up until probably 3:30. If we start seeing deals happening in that like 12:30 to 1:30 window, I might just go live immediately and dive into it right out of the gate. We'll see what happens. We'll see what kind of murmurings are happening. But the moment it starts to jump off, we're going live. And if it gets to 1:30, it's just going to be 1:30. And then we're going till 3:30 at a minimum. It's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. I love this. Is going to be like the 4th year that I've done this. It's so much fun to me. It is my favorite day, potentially. I think probably is my favorite day of the sports calendar, NBA trade deadline. There's something about it that I live for the transactional aspect of the NBA. So good morning to everybody. It's nice to see everybody here. I see a lot of coffee cups and hot dogs and pizzas and stuff. So it's good to have everybody here for this show. We're going to break it down pretty quickly here, and then we're going to move it on to, I've got contenders videos coming up, strategy show at 10 o'clock with Adam, and then we're going deep into the trade deadline show. I'm so excited. I had trouble sleeping last night. It's like Christmas for me. So I am running on very little sleep, as per usual, though, when it comes to this show and we get to Thursday during the week. So let's get some coffee in my body right now, and let's try to help this out. Let's break down 7 games. Hope everybody had some success yesterday. No DFS for me basically this entire week. I got a friend in town, so we've just been hanging out. Yesterday was his birthday, so we went out for a bit. So I was not around the NBA all that much yesterday, but let's do this now. I've got my coffee. I hope you guys do as well. If you don't, and you've got tea, water, beer, hot dogs, whatever it is now, joints, join me in this one. We'll say rise and grind. That's the way to start the day. Cheers, everybody. This is going to be a big one. This is my day. Let's win some money tonight, too. Oh, much needed coffee. Much needed. Almost made. I like this version of Josh so much better. A lot of people do. All right, let's break it down. Memphis Grizzlies, 10-point favorites. Oh, and by the way, if I don't remember if I've asked yet, hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and make sure you are following me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Also, you know what? We'll bounce back to it. I'd be remiss. Nice, I pointed the right way and everything. Be remiss if I did not talk about the presenting sponsor of this show. That would be Prize Picks. Go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. Get yourself 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You get a little bit of a deposit bonus. It's a great spot to be. We've got a free player prop tool on awesemo.com that can help you out. By the way, Prize Picks will be sponsoring the trade deadline show, and we'll be able to hop into some Prize Picks props while we're on the show as news breaks. So if you guys are playing on Prize Picks, you'll be able to dive in. We'll be able to take a really quick look. If there's anything that changes for the slate, you guys can attack those numbers as fast as possible. Antonio, so do I. I'm not going to lie. All right, here we go. We're starting with Memphis. No Dylan Brooks still. No Tillman. No Aldama. No Tilly. No Pons. So no changes, I guess. This is just the normal Memphis team. Maybe too many minutes for Steven Adams right now. We bring him down to 27. Bring Brandon Clark up to 21. Honestly, 26 feels mildly correct too. I'm fine with the John Morant minutes. I'm fine with the Desmond Bane minutes, Jaren Jackson minutes. This is just Memphis. This is a pretty good spot too, but I don't know if the salaries are going to play the way that we want them to. On the Detroit side, this is where we might get a little bit of different stuff going on. Obviously, potentially involved in the deadline with Jeremy Grant. So, a lot of potential here for changes. We've got Killian Hayes probable, Josh Jackson and Cade Cunningham both questionable. We've seen Cade miss the past 4 games. I'm clearly putting Cade in this one, and he's very certainly not on the trade block. So there's really not all that much that needs to be changed up here. You know, we've got the Sadiq Bey 32 minutes. We've got Jeremy Grant in for 32 minutes, which I think makes sense for any competitive game. Isaiah Stewart plays about 29. That seems right to me. 17 more for Trey Lyles. There's not too much else here I want to change. I'd love to get Hamidou Diallo a couple extra minutes. I don't know where to get those from. Like if Cade's back, I don't think we get as much out of one of Diallo or Frank Jackson. I just don't know which one it is. So last time Cade was active, it was basically like, and Jeremy Grant was out, and that is unhelpful for this particular moment. So I think we're done with Memphis and Detroit with basically no changes made. On the Memphis side, it's basically just Morant and Bane. You would expect to get to a little bit more of Memphis here against Detroit, but it doesn't appear to be at that great of a spot. $7,300 Jaren Jackson, power forward center on DraftKings is okay, but still, a couple points behind Morant and Bane for me. So I don't really see any major priorities for Memphis today. On Detroit, Jeremy Grant to me is a major priority on FanDuel at $5,200. That's just too cheap of a price tag for him. Who the hell knows if he plays though? So take my Jeremy Grant with a grain of salt today, because there's a decent chance he's not playing in this game. He shouldn't play in this game. Let's be very clear here. There's no reason Jeremy Grant should be on the Pistons at 3:00 today. They should be trading him for the best package they could possibly get. It's silly to keep him for this year. In theory, I should take him out right now because I think he's one of the guys that are most likely to be traded, but I just don't trust NBA front offices. So if he happens to be available, play him. If Cade Cunningham is able to play today on FanDuel at $6,900, you should be playing him. He's better than anything that showed up on Memphis. And then you can make a bit of a case for Sadiq Bey on DraftKings at $6,400. I agree, Calvin. People should hit the like button. Michael Ortiz, good morning. Jalen Harden, good morning. All right, 1 game down. That was pretty easy. Game number 2, Miami Heat at the New Orleans Pelicans. Heat made a deal yesterday, shipping out Casey Okpala to Oklahoma City. We'll see if that ends up mattering at all for OKC. I mean, why would you get an apology for Sabonis playing yesterday? I'm not surprised that he played. I just didn't expect him to finish the trade before the deadline. It's not information anybody knows. It's just a guess. Let's look at Miami. Morning, Nate. Morning, Kevin. What do we know for Miami? Is Tyler Hero back? That's a big piece. Hero probable, Caleb Martin probable. So they are at full strength. And I think we're pretty close to getting Markieff Morris back. But for now, we need to hand out some minutes. So we're going to go ahead and give Tyler Hero, 32, 31? 31 minutes? That works for me. We'll get a 34 on Lowry, which honestly might be too many. We'll go 33 and 15 to him and Gabe Vincent. Oh, Justin Sports. Are we going to do this? Yes, Sabonis is better than Halliburton. True statement. Sabonis also just +4 yesterday in that game because not a center in terms of defense. That is the Domantas Sabonis problem. All right, Duncan Robinson could be on his way out today. Keep your eyes peeled for that, I guess. And we have got 23 minutes for Max Strus or Caleb Martin. Now, it feels like it's Max Strus, but I don't know for sure. Do they go to a 9-man rotation? Does Strus play 23 minutes, and that's just what we've got moving forward? You're killing me, Justin Sports. Or do they go to 10 and chop Strus and Caleb Martin? That seems weird, right? Now, this team feels like a team that's going to go 9. Like, they went 9 here. They went 9 here. One had no Strus, one had no Martin. They went 9 on Monday. That was no Hero. They went 9 here, but that's no Lowry. So they seem stuck in 9. So I'm going to go to Strus over Martin. I don't think it matters. I probably just spent too much time hashing that out. We do have to grab rates for Miami since the last time they played, they had no Tyler Hero. I don't expect Miami to be doing anything today, but they have created a situation where it's easier for them to trade picks. So that's what the KZ Okpala trade was for yesterday. So it's possible they can make a move. I just don't know what they'd be looking to do. Butler, Bam, Hero, Kyle Lowry. We're going to say games where all 4 of them played. It's not the biggest sample in the world, but should be enough. 14 games. That'll work. Let's grab these links. This Miami team is about to look a little bit worse than you would think. Just because when everybody's available, it's hard for this team to look like they pop off the page. So we grab rates. This one's easy. God, I'm so excited for later today. I can't get there fast enough. The last thing I want to do is the strategy show today, guys. It's just because I know how quickly it's going to be turned into nothing interesting. God, I love coffee. All right, Bam Adebayo, 27% usage rate when everybody is available. It's a pretty healthy number, actually. He basically gets no assists and significantly more rebounds. Jimmy Butler, 26% usage rate, so nothing too surprising there. Greatly reduced assist rate. Rebounds stay the same. Kyle Lowry, basically no usage, which is truly insane. Assist rate stays the same. Rebounding actually goes up, which is wild. Max Strus somehow has not played all that much, so now I'm starting to think that it's going to be Caleb Martin. We'll ignore that for right now. Tyler Hero, 27% usage rate when all of these guys are available, so he still has no problem shooting. That right there are the projections for Miami. Now we're on to New Orleans. And let's see, I got to move Nickeil Alexander-Walker to Utah. Satoransky to San Antonio. Who the hell else was in that deal? Oh, yeah, Josh Hart to Portland. think that was it. And then I need to bring in... We need to go grab McCollum. Nance is injured, but I think I can go to just Portland for this, so that should make it a little bit easier. So we go to Portland. Well, maybe it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. We go to Portland. We get CJ to New Orleans. We get Larry Nance to New Orleans. Shame that Nance having knee surgery right now is pretty wild. Snell to New Orleans. Boom. Got it. Don't think so on that Harden question. Yeah, I don't understand the Nickeil Alexander-Walker thing. I understand taking the flyer. I just assumed they were going to try to improve more for this season. They're really good for player development, so if he can be rehabbed, I think there's some defensive value there. I just don't know if he can. All right, we're going to delete this entire Pelicans rotation. Obviously, we need to try to figure out what this is going to look like now with CJ McCollum. So, yeah, the problem there, Justin Sports, is that you can't evaluate trades based on how it makes it happen now. They aren't a very good basketball team. Being better right now is not a good thing. Ingles knew he was being traded. I don't think he was too mad about it. All right, let's figure out this New Orleans Pelicans rotation. A lot of it should be obvious. We're going to go... Basically, CJ McCollum should step right into Josh Hart's minutes. So, Devontae Graham in for 31. I'm going to say that CJ McCollum goes straight in for not his normal 36 minutes, but, I think we get 34 out of CJ straight away. Feels like Herb Jones is the natural 3 in this spot where he's going to play 33 minutes. I think Brandon Ingram is just clearly going to be in for 35. And then we get Joe Val in for, 31? Now, the question really becomes, how are they going to manage Jackson Hayes, and how much is he going to play at the 4? Is Willie Hernan-Gomez available for this game? No, still out for COVID protocols. We also have Tony Snell to worry about for this team. That is a mildly complicating matter just because he tends to soak up a lot of playing time. So we're going to say that Jackson Hayes is the backup center. And then, I don't know, plays like 10 more minutes? 27? I think 27 feels about right. Maybe 20. Maybe we go 28. Yeah, I think that's viable. Could actually be a little bit more, but don't trust this team right now. Alvarado just gets the backup point guard run. We kind of just know that at this point. Which means we have 31 minutes left over for whoever the final 2 people are in this rotation. Whether that's Garrett Temple, Gary Clark, Trey Murphy, Tony Snell, honestly. I wonder who they go to. Feels like it's Murphy. So I'm going to assume that Tony Snell doesn't play. Not that I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to go 14 minutes to Garrett Temple and 17 minutes to Trey Murphy. Although, how blowouty was he the last time? That was a positive blowout if it was. No, he played normal last rotation. Okay, cool. I'm actually fine with this then. Maybe we see Snell, who knows? Now, the rates are an actual problem here. I don't know what's going to happen to CJ McCollum's usage rate. I'm going to cut everyone's usage rate and just see where it ends up if I don't touch anything. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to take that big of a haircut. They didn't contradict themselves, Justin Sports. You should never not take somebody because of what's in front of you. Also, in theory, De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton can play alongside of each other. Oh man, I really don't know what to do with the rates here. Like, I don't think that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the best analog to leave on because he doesn't play alongside the starters all that much. So I'm gonna flatten out the usage because I don't necessarily trust where it's gonna come from. I'm gonna leave the assist rates similar to where they are right now. And for me, I don't find the Pelicans to be all that interesting. I mean, that should be no surprise. That's what happens when you take on Miami. But if we look at Miami, no priorities here. I think Miami looks a lot like Memphis. Maybe Butler and Lowry on FanDuel a little bit, but I don't really like what's going on for the Heat today. And then on the Pelican side, no one stands out. 7K Joval on FanDuel is fine. Not a priority for me. Let's move it on to Brooklyn, who should be a really fun team to talk about. It is on the road, which means we do get Kyrie Irving back in the fold, which I'm sure Brooklyn is incredibly happy about, given the fact they're on I believe, 7-game losing streak. So we know that there's no Harden. No, well, actually, we don't. Do we know that there's no Harden today? I guess we do, right? I mean, there's a 0% chance James Harden's playing in this game, so what the hell am I talking about? Q tag on Claxton, but we do get Kyrie, no Durant, no Harris, no Aldridge. So this actually should be relatively easy to project, although I'm sure Brooklyn's going to be doing something here. We're going to go to, let's see, Patty Mills, 32 minutes seems fine. We're going to get Kyrie in for 36. We need centerman. Oh my God, this team is a pain in the ass. Justin Sports, to say that we have no idea and that it's opinions and guessing is disingenuous to the fact that we don't have all of the data on both of these guys over 2 years. Like, it's not just guessing. If it were just guessing, none of this would all be all that interesting and we wouldn't play DFS either. We have data to back this up. Well, Patty Mills' minutes and Kyrie Irving's minutes are very easy to project. You know what else is easy to project for this team? Fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, so James Johnson, I'm going to give 24 minutes. Blake Griffin seems to play, 20. All right. Kessler Edwards minutes are down a ton right now. We're going to put him in for like 18. Bembry has been playing something in the neighborhood of like 22 to 24. I just have to give all these guys the minutes and then figure out who I have to take minutes away from. If Claxton is in, 20 minutes for Claxton. This team is the absolute worst. Day'Ron Sharp in for, 16, maybe not. Cam Thomas is back and playing again with these 3 games without Harden. Let's say that he plays 30, 28. 28 feels about right. Philip, Kyrie's not playing in Brooklyn has nothing to do with the mask mandate. Just sort of. Like, this is not the be all end all, but this is what you do to do something like this. This is going to be, I'm showing this to say this is an example of how you evaluate this, but 538's Raptor model has career player projections. Now, I'm not saying to just take this immediately and like this is what we're going with, but I mean, we can give probabilities on how this works out. We can look at this right away and compare these guys to each other. We are much more we're more likely to see this taper off for Fox and peak more for Halliburton. Now, keep in mind, this was coming into this season where Halliburton is performing better than we would normally have expected. But, I mean, here's your visualization. Here's what these guys could be becoming. It's two different players for sure, but in terms of modern NBA basketball, Halliburton's looking a little bit more interesting. 3 years older, cheaper. You've got all of this value. You're more interested in Halliburton's timeline if you're the Kings. Well, you should be more interested in Halliburton's timeline for the Kings than in Sabonis's timeline. You know, we've got Halliburton bigger in theory. We want to call him a better defender. I'm fine with that. But I mean, look, not that they both don't have obviously good comps on here, but you take the youth in this situation. You take the youth. But we can do this. We can look and see how frequently we see one of these guys be better than the other. You do that with the rest of your team building, with financial aspects for the team too. There's a lot to look at. All right, let's continue to try. All right, we're at the top of the hour, so hit that like button. Let's try to figure out what the rest of this stupid Brooklyn Nets rotation looks like. Okay, so if Claxton's back, I think we just assume that Sharp's minutes go away, which means I need to give minutes to Carter and Duke. Or maybe just Carter? Because I'm running out of bodies here. Bruce Brown, like his minutes are all over the place. How do you project Bruce Brown? I don't know. I'm going to give Bruce Brown 20 minutes and Javon Carter 18. And now I'm going to just try to move these minutes around. So I think we're good there. And I think we're good here. I'm going to move 12 minutes here, give him 6. And we can go 8 here and 16. I don't trust this at all, just obviously. We need to grab rates for Brooklyn. So let's do that. This is going to be for Kyrie in. Kyrie played in the game. James Harden and Kevin Durant off the floor. Can't be a big sample. Okay, so Adam Shockley says, I don't mean to point this out, but I've seen this a lot. Why trade Halliburton over Fox? To me, it makes no sense. So, like, somebody else has to be willing to take Fox. It's not like we can just, like, they looked at it and were like, oh, should we trade Fox or Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis? And they were like, well, I guess we should trade Halliburton. Like, I agree that they should have traded Fox. We have no idea what can come back if they trade Fox. It's not like the Kings just opted to trade Halliburton instead of Fox in this deal. If that were the case, to me, that is grounds for mismanagement of the entire franchise. We don't know what Fox would have gotten. Evidently, it wasn't enough to get Ben Simmons, but It's also true for just about everybody. Kyrie Irving in 173 minutes on the floor with no Kevin Durant and no James Harden, 32.5% usage rate, a 10% assist rate, and not a ton of rebounds. Patty Mills with a 20% assist or 20% usage rate, and oddly enough, a big rebounding bump that I don't want to read too much into. I don't know if Cam Thomas, I guess, bit of a usage guy. I'm going to bump him up to 22.5, maybe. I'm going to take DeAndre Bembry down to 11. I think that's it. Well, we spent a lot of time looking at Brooklyn for what I'd like to say is no reason. Yeah, not super interested in the 2-game sample for Fox. I believe, if I remember correctly, and I believe I heard this, Fox was actually playing better with Halliburton on than Halliburton off, which shouldn't be all that surprising either, because that's how good of a complementary player Tyrese Halliburton is. All right, let's talk Washington Wizards now. We dragged our heels a little bit too long here on Brooklyn, and I got too far into the weeds on this De'Aaron Fox discussion. We need to talk about the Washington Wizards and their lack of Bradley Beal moving forward. Let's see. Here's the stat lines for yesterday. Yeah, I mean, 10 to 20, 27, 8, and 3 looks good to me. Didn't really get anybody else involved, but it's a solid game. Solid game. It's not inefficient, but not ideal. Well, no more Bradley Beal, which means the rest of this should be pretty easy to do. Shit, Greg Monroe is not on the Wizards. What the hell team is Greg Monroe on right now? Because he's projected to play. Milwaukee? Yeah, thought so. Him to Milwaukee. All right, so this is basically just the same rotation we've had for Washington. Phillip, yeah, Beal's done for the year. I'm going to take Dinwiddie down to 31 minutes. We're going to take Neto up to 17. I got 20 for Thomas Bryant, 24 for Trez. Maybe we go 22 for Trez. Get a couple more minutes to Rui. KCP at 29. I don't know. 33 for Kuzma. 24 for Denny. I'll go 28. Get another one here for Kispert. Don't trust this Washington team. I mean, you can't say how hard is it to watch games and realize they weren't working together. It's the Kings. That is way more systemic than Fox and Halliburton. I don't have any other rates to change here. I think this is just what we want. So let's look at game number 3. Brooklyn. We're playing Kyrie Irving for sure on FanDuel at 9,400. One of the best plays we've seen thus far. Looks okay at 10-4 on DraftKings, honestly. Not too much else you want to get to from Brooklyn. On Washington, I mean, we got to go right back to Spencer Dinwiddie, I think. It's not fun, but he's still like a 26% usage guy with a pretty big assist rate when Bradley Beal isn't on the floor. I don't know what else to do for this one. If we say that Bradley Beal did not play in the game, and we say that Spencer Dinwiddie and Kyle Kuzma, we'll say, just started and played. Spencer Dinwiddie in games that Bradley Beal did not play. 25.4% usage rate. I'll bring it down. That's fine. I'm going to get him a ton again, and I assume I'm going to get him a ton again, and I don't really know how else to project him at this point. You know, maybe the assist rate needs a look, but we're talking about a 422-minute sample. That's pretty big rotationally. So if we're looking at Dinwiddie, assist rate 12%. It's actually higher than what I have in here right now. I'll try to be pessimistic for it. Yeah, S&P. So for the most part, I'm with you. S&P, I think they could be an interesting pick and roll duo, but yeah, I mean, Fox's lack of shooting and Sabonis's 100% lack of shooting does not bode well for the future of the NBA. If you've got shooter, Fox, Sabonis, I think you can make that work. But Fox needs to be able to get back to getting to the rack. Yeah, okay, so for Washington, I'm playing a ton of Spencer Dinwiddie again, 5,700 on FanDuel, 6K on DraftKings. I'm happy to get to Kuzma, particularly on DraftKings at 7,400. Am I supposed to have him in with a 26% usage rate? Is that real? We're going to go down to 25. Just be normal. Yeah. All right, so it's Kuzma and Dinwiddie, mostly Dinwiddie. All right, 7:09. We've got 4 more games to go. I am not moving through this quickly. Toronto at Houston. This one should move pretty quickly. Barring anybody being out, these are going to be the same rotations we had yesterday, and I believe both of these teams played. Toronto, not making any changes. I should look at their minutes, but I'm not going to. Houston. Q-tag on Eric Gordon. Clearly not playing today. So don't be surprised to see Daniel Tice move on. I'm not doing anything to this Toronto rotation. This is just going to hold. We know exactly what these guys do every single night. Maybe I take a minute away from Scotty Barnes, give that to Kem Birch. Take him down to 36. But I got Siakam in for 39, and I'm fine with that. 38 for Van Vliet, and I'm fine with that. 37 for Anunoby, and I'm fine with that. 37 for Trent. I'll make it 33, or 36, rather. Give one more to Banton. Justin, man, it's a different league now. That works, but then whoever's in at the 2, the 3, and the 4 in that lineup have to be able to shoot, or you're in incredible trouble offensively. Sabonis has 2 years left on his deal, Sotex. Now, as we look at Houston, I already don't have Eric Gordon in. There's no chance to me that he's going to play today. Unless I expect him to get dealt. If he doesn't get dealt, then I think that he plays, obviously. But for now, I'm leaving him out because I don't think that he's going to be on Houston after the deadline. They'd be silly to keep him. So I'm going to keep my minutes on Porter and Green. They've been playing really solid minutes, and we know that this rotation is tight, which is helpful. I got Şengün in for 26 minutes. We got Christian Wood in for 32, and I can make a real case that should be 33, which I am going to do. A minute away from Armani Brooks. I got Tate in for 29. Fine. I got Garrison Matthews in for 29. That's fine. I got 22 on Josh Christopher. Sure. Kenyon Martin, 21. Get him one more minute. Adam, everybody that I project to play a minute ends up in my player pool. setting exposure percentages is a sort of a personal preference thing. You don't have to. That could be based on more randomness, more uniques. It's something you got to kind of do trial and error for. It's a total test case for exposures. I mean, I think you're unfairly shitting on Rashawn Holmes, but yes, I would basically always prefer a 5-out offense. Look, Sabonis had like the best possible scenario for him in Indiana with a stretch big in Turner. He's not cut out to be a starting center. Defensively, he's clearly immensely talented offensively. I don't want them to run the same shit. I just don't want to trade really good young players for stopgap measures in Sabonis. You think Sabonis is going to re-sign with Sacramento? Why the hell would he? Why would Sabonis not go test the free agent market after this and go to an actual team? See, this is what the trade deadline show is going to be great for. I don't have to do work alongside of it. As we look at Toronto, you will be shocked to hear that you should be playing Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and Gary Trent in some volume, with Fred VanVleet being the most interesting of the group. On the Houston side, it's going to look the same. Wood, Porter, Green, Tate, Şengün, all very much in play here. Toronto, Houston, for right now, might just be my favorite game on the slate. This is also a Sacramento Kings team that chose not to take Luka Doncic. Team might look a little bit different if they did that. Yeah, if you're going to hit lightning in a bottle with taking Halliburton 12th, at least see it out. Yeah, Justin, that is a wildly incorrect statement, man. Look, I'm going to say it right now. This is 100% true. Domantas Sabonis is not cut out to be playing deep into the playoffs as a starting center in the NBA. He does not have that skill set. They will not be able to stop people in the playoffs. Now, that doesn't matter so much for the Kings because they're trying to raise their floor. They don't give a shit about going deep into the playoffs. But Domantas Sabonis is a floor raiser. He's sort of like last year's Russell Westbrook in that it's going to help you at the bottom end and kill you at the top end. Again, nobody's saying that Sabonis isn't good. It's just a terrible trade for what the Kings are. LA Clippers at Dallas. Clippers are 7-point dogs. I don't have a damn clue what this team's going to be doing today. Not sure. That's Minnesota. Wrong team. All right, Clippers. No Paul George, no Kawhi Leonard. So everybody that was available for the last one is available for this one. And it appears that everybody just plays 20-something minutes now. This is brutal to try to figure out. Amir Coffey. 20 minutes here, 28. Surge didn't play their last game out. That's interesting. Hartenstein played 28. Zubac played 14. What do I do with that information? I take Ibaka out. He could play. Who knows? Just don't play the Clippers. That's the moral of the story for today is don't play the LA Clippers. Now we go to Dallas, and I do want to pull rates again for Luka, just because he has been pretty extreme with no Tim Hardaway and no Porzingis, but we do have like 2 or 3 more games now of that data. I think that's important for someone like Luka. We have no Porzingis here. Obviously, Tim Hardaway is just out, and then Sterling Brown is questionable. So this should be... Oh, Maxi's back. Fun. We got to get Maxi 28 minutes from somewhere. Marquise Chris can take 2 less. Oh, Dwight Powell can actually give up most of his now. Once again, get him back down to 24. That'll allow me to go to 22 on Maxi. Ntilikina in for 14. Brunson in for 34. Bullock in for 34. Gonna sneeze. Whoo! That was one of those wake-up sneezes. That's the best. Love it. All right, let's grab these Dallas rates. Dallas is an interesting team here. I don't know if they're going to have the ability to do anything today, but I'm very interested to see if they do. Let's see. Let's get Kristaps Porzingis off, Tim Hardaway Jr. on, and then games in which we did have Luka Doncic and where's your name at? And Jalen Brunson. All right, where are we at for likes here? 159 viewers, 76 likes. Hit that thumbs up. All right, let's grab these rates for Dallas and see how it's looking for Luka. Yeah, 39.5% usage rate. So it's still massive rates for Luka. Grab the assist rates. And we grab the rebounding rates. Boom. Self wants to know, do I just guess the minutes the players are going to play? I mean, yes. I'd like to consider it more of like an educated guess, but yes, these are guesses. I don't think that Jason Kidd is going to take anything that I say and run with it. All right, so I already have Luka in with a 39.5% usage rate, and that's going to hold, but I am going to make it 39 flat. His assist rate is actually higher than what I have in here right now, so I'm going to bump that up. Rebounding rate is exactly what I have in, so we are just jamming Luka like I said we should have been doing for the past week. Dorian Finney-Smith, I need to bring down in usage. That's important. He's somebody that I've been getting a little bit too much of lately. Now, Jalen Brunson in this case. Usage rate looks fine. Assist rate looks fine. Rebounding looks fine. Josh Green has a little bit less usage. Reggie Bullock has a little bit more usage. And then Dwight Powell, finally, 13% usage. That'll give us Dallas. So as we remember, don't play the Clippers. And on the Dallas side, aggressively play Luka. 11-2 on FanDuel, 12-4 on DraftKings, 1.58 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. He is playing very well, and this is a good spot for him. So go ahead and get him. I also don't mind going to Dorian Finney-Smith or Jalen Brunson as well. New York Knicks, 9.5-point dogs in Golden State, 218 total. No idea what the Knicks are going to be up to today. Would not be surprised to see them end up with Russell Westbrook by the end of the day. Looks like RJ Barrett is doubtful, so we'll get him out of there. Q tag on Robinson, Noel, and Grimes. Just going to assume that Robinson and Noel are in like normal. But this is going to be pretty important for not having RJ Barrett on the floor. Just out of curiosity, who has played? If we go to the Knicks and we say Rose off, RJ Barrett off, who has played the most minutes for the Knicks in this scenario? Alec Burks has played 520 minutes with no Rose, no Barrett. Quickly is at 400. The next highest mark is 300 for Randall. So I think we need to assume that Alec Burks and Emmanuel Quickly are going to get the biggest chunk of run here as a benefit. So let's start with Kemba being in for, say, 22 at the point guard spot. I think we get Quickly in for 22 as well. And then I'm going 30 on Alec Burks. Fournier has been playing a lot more as of late. I'm going to get him up to 32. The center minutes and the 4 minutes are fine. Grimes in for 20. So we have a new spot in the rotation, and I think that we just give those minutes to Cam Reddish. 18 minutes for Reddish straight away. Easy stuff. And then I don't actually think that I need to make any other changes. Maybe we just say, I don't even need to say really that Julius Randle played in the game. I think it's just Rose off, Barrett off. All right, so let's grab these new rates, or whatever we want to call these rates, for the Knicks. Grab assist rates. Oh, guys, I'm starting to get so excited for later today. I'm so excited to talk and not have to, also stay on point. We can get into some real rambling. All right, I'm going to delete all the rates that we have in here because I think not having RJ Barrett on is a real important piece. Alec Burks with a 20% usage rate in those 520 minutes doesn't really do anything else. Emmanuel Quickly, though, 26% usage rate and a monster assist rate bump. He's pretty cheap on DK, too. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Randall with a 28.5% usage rate somehow manages to be worse with no RJ Barrett. I mean, I guess it's not somehow. I guess we know why. Kemba with the big usage bump. I don't know if I should really care too much about those minutes for Kemba, but we are going to give him a bit of a usage bump. I don't think that he is his normal self, but oh well. And then finally, Quentin Grimes, 16 and change. No other changes here. Oh, I got to get Fournier too. Fournier, 25.5% usage rate. I'll bump him up to 25 there. That should really nerf Mitchell Robinson and Noel. Fournier, though, very minimal assists. Looking like an Alec Burks day. Now we go to Golden State, and I know we need to put Clay back on. I have no idea. Well, these guys are on back-to-back, right? But we don't really know who's going to be available here. I'm guessing, is Otto Porter going to be available for this one? Wait, Otto Porter played yesterday? Okay, so he's not going to play today then. And we are going to get Clay back. So this should be relatively easy. All right, let's delete everybody because it's just easier that way. we're going to go ahead and get Clay in for, I mean, he's just going to play 30, right? That's the assumption. Clay can now play 30 minutes a game. Iggy is injured, so I'm not putting him in. We could get Bielitsa back today. Let's get Looney in for 26. We get Juan Toscano Anderson in for 18. We'll go Kuminga for 22. We got to get Jordan Poole in for 28. Sure. We have 47 minutes for Damian Lee, Gary Payton, and Moses Moody. So that's going to be like 15 and 16. We're going to go a little bit heavier to Lee. Although, yeah, we'll go 14 for Payton. We'll go 14 for Moody. We'll go 19 for Damian Lee. Now we need to grab Warriors rates. Curious to see if the Warriors do anything here. Curry plays, Clay plays, Wiggins plays, Poole plays. Draymond Green off, Otto Porter off. Small sample, but wait till you guys see the usage rate on one Steph Curry here. .4% usage rate for Steph in games where he, Clay, Wiggins, and Poole all play with no Draymond and no Otto Porter on the floor. 26% usage rate for Steph Curry because Klay Thompson's got a 28% usage rate. What up, Steph? What are you doing, man? Let's grab these silly rates for Golden State. The problem here for Golden State is that they're going to look bad, I would imagine, because that's what happens when you play the Knicks. But a 7-game slate means like we still have to look at them a little bit. I want them to make a deal today. I just don't know what that deal is. We're at 7:30. We've got 176 people in here, just 90 likes. If you're one of the 86 people that haven't hit the thumbs up yet, what are you waiting for, guys? Hit that thumbs up. Help me out. All right, I'm taking Steph down to a 30% usage rate, which is going to make him look basically meaningless. Go to Klay Thompson for 27% usage. Jordan Poole. When all those guys are available, Jordan Poole's got a 17% usage rate. That is insane. Wiggins is at 20. That's insane. I'm going to leave this go like it is right now. So let's look at Golden State and the Knicks. Game number 6 of the day. Knicks. Alec Burks is your best option, 4,700 and 4,800 on FanDuel and DraftKings, and that's still not all that interesting. This slate's a weird one, man. We're going to get a ton of value, or at least we should. Yeah, Curry's the best option here for Golden State. I don't have a ton of interest in anybody else. A rough game. Let's not forget, the Knicks are the 27th fastest team in basketball. Golden State is middle of the pack. Let's close it out now. Late night hammer, and this is a legitimate late night hammer. The Milwaukee Bucks at the Phoenix Suns. Finals rematch. Milwaukee's got everybody healthy except for Brook Lopez and George Hill, which means that we're probably going with the same rotation we had before. Phoenix has everybody healthy that they've had as of late. No Payne, no Shamet, no Kaminsky, no Nader. So we're not really making any changes here. Maybe just small tweaks to... like I've got Grayson Allen in for 28 minutes. I think that's fine. I think that everything that I have in here is okay. Although we have been seeing Greg Monroe play as of late. I don't know why that is, but he has been playing over Jordan Nwora. So I'm going to give Greg Monroe 15 minutes. I'm not making any other changes. All these rates stay the same. And on Phoenix, it should be the exact same situation. We don't need to make any changes to the rotation for Phoenix. Cam Johnson's minutes are back down now that Jay Crowder is back. So I do want to take Cam Johnson maybe down to 24 minutes. We didn't get any Biyombo. I've got Ayton in for 29. I'm going to make that 30 and 18. We're going to keep Mikal Bridges in at 30. Actually, I'm going to make it 38 for Bridges just because of this matchup. I think we can make Jay Crowder 19-ish. Wainwright isn't playing anymore. So we need to give a couple extra minutes to Elfrid Payton. Let's take him up to 16 minutes. That leaves me 10 extra. I'm going to give them to Jalen Smith. Rates all stay the same for Phoenix right now. No additional changes. So for Milwaukee, excuse me. For Milwaukee, it's Giannis. Does not look as good as Luka, in my opinion. Not a lot of other real good choices for me elsewhere. And then on Phoenix, this is a wild slate. Devin Booker, 8,900 on DraftKings, point guard, shooting guard. Sign me up. I like Bridges. I do like Paul, whose price is coming down. $6,600 Ayton is very appealing in this matchup. But that is the slate, guys. 7 games up, 7 games down. Let's run our crunches. Let's find out what we like for today. Again, a reminder, NBA trade deadline show coming up at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, potentially earlier if things just start popping off crazy long before we get started. And we're at 100 likes, so you guys are the absolute best. Thank you for that. So excited for this NBA trade deadline. It's going to be a good one. FanDuel Optimals. Here we go, everybody. First one up. I assume we get Luka as a pay-up option. Let's see if that's the case. We do. 337.1. So by 0.3 of a point, Luka Doncic, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie Irving, Jalen Brunson, Scotty Barnes, Desmond Bane, Jeremy Grant, Alperen Şengün, and Montrezl Harrell. Interesting. Nothing too crazy there. Let's check out the power rankings, which I think are going to be relatively flat here. It wasn't feeling like anybody just pulled away from a value perspective, but let's see. I agree. Shout out to Prize Picks. Looks okay. All right. So the guys that are at the top are the guys that I expected to be there. Looking like Luka's going to be the number one contender. But the top 4 guys here do stand out above the pack. And I agree with that. Like it makes sense to me based on what we looked at so far. Oh, looks like it's not going to be Luka. Fell a bit. Still in that top 4 group, though. So we've got Spencer Dinwiddie, Jeremy Grant, Fred VanVleet, and Luka Doncic, all basically tied at the top. Those 4 guys are on their own tier. Desmond Bane is sort of just like floating in his own tier. I might have to actually take a minute away from Bane, but I think we're okay for right now. And then we get to just a real flat tier, all the way from Burks down to Christian Wood. What's on the screen right now, they're all basically the same. So Dinwiddie, Jeremy Grant, Fred VanVleet, Luka Doncic. That is the core at the top of FanDuel at 7:36 a.m. Let's find out what DraftKings looks like. And more importantly, let's save this file so that I don't lose everything I did. All right, DraftKings optimal lineups. We have 287.6. So by 1/10 of a point, Spencer Dinwiddie, Emmanuel Quickley at 3,400, Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant, Ivica Zubac, Kevin Porter Jr., Alperen Şengün, and Luka Doncic. In for the power rankings on DraftKings, before we get out of here, I got to rest my voice too, you know? We're going to have a lot of talking later today. My coffee's empty. That's sad. It's very sad. I am going to go to Starbucks after this. That's a great idea, Josh. Get yourself a fresh hot coffee and some egg bites. Yeah, buddy. All right, so looking like Spencer Dinwiddie is at the top on DraftKings. Enjoy. Everything that I've seen, SMP, if Westbrook ended up on the Knicks, is like Burks, Kemba, and Fournier or something like that. But the way they've been playing Fournier, I don't think they want to get off that deal. So then it becomes a little bit more complicated. But Burks and Kemba as a base, maybe Nerlens Noel or something getting shipped out to a third team. All right, DraftKings power rankings. Spencer Dinwiddie is at number 1. Jeremy Grant at 2. Kyle Kuzma 3. Gets pretty flat after that. Burks, Booker, Porter, Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet. That's everybody above 15%. It flattens out aggressively on DK. What happened to don't play the Clippers? So what's really funny for that is Zubac shows up in the optimal, does not show up in the top 20, as best I can tell. There's not a Clippers logo anywhere here. So that is just a very random quirk. Well, guys, we are done here. That will do it for the process. Let's go big screen here. Bang. Guys, we're going to have a hell of a day today. Make sure you're watching the Contenders videos later. Make sure you're watching the strategy show at 10. And make sure you're coming back and watching the deeper dive in Live Before Lock. Today is about as important of a deeper dive in Live Before Lock as you're going to find coming out of the deadline. Plus with a bunch of teams on back-to-backs, we don't even have enough information. But join me no later than 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The event is already created. Check my Twitter at Josh Engleman. You can find the link directly to the NBA trade deadline show. We're going at least 2 hours. We're going to break it all down. We'll talk individual players. We'll do all of that good stuff. It is my favorite show to do of the year. Please come hang out. It's going to be fun. Thank you guys for being here for the process. We're closing out the work week tomorrow with... How many games do we got tomorrow? I think it's 9, which I'm not really stoked about. And I'm not going to be playing the slate. So, oh no, tomorrow. 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, 7. And most of it locks at 7. That's interesting. Well, we done. Join me, 1:30. It's going to be fun. Trade deadline. This is the process. We out. Peace.